Why option traders have an edge over stock traders?
Why do you think?
Buying power, sophistication.
Flexibility.
Flexibility is really buying power. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
same.
I guess that is the same thing.
Yeah. Buying power, flexibility.
Dynamic positioning.
Yeah.
Dynamic positions.
Yeah.
Being able to add, change, adjust, roll, manage delta more efficiently.
Stock trades could be long or short, and they're typically not short. So they're either long or they're out.
And it's impossible to your delta is static.
And what are you going to do? Buy 1 share of SPY, 10 shares of SPY?
Yeah.
I mean, 100 shares of SPY is a significant amount of money these days.
But you're always static delta. Market goes up and you're 100 deltas. Market goes down, you're 100 deltas. And so you have to, your only way to manage positions is to sell or buy more stock. Like if you're just sitting at the same allocation of 100 grand, you're stuck, you're there. If it goes to if the market goes up, what do? You take 20 shares off, but then what do you do? What do you do with that capital? There's nothing dynamic about it.
That's right.
Well, let's do it.
Nothing dynamic about this market right now. It's just green.
Yes.
Although
only up 23.
Yeah. It's not. What's Kelly green? Is that the brighter green, like the darker green? I should say. Is that Kelly green? Ooh. What would be a light green? Or is forest green real green?
Forest is like a dark green.
Yeah, that's real green. That's 60 handles on the S&Ps, 20 handles, 25 handles on the medium. It's kind of like a turning green.
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't know where I'm going with this?
No.
Light green, I guess.
Light green.
There we go.
I got it. It's a light green. It's a little taste of green.
Yes.
All right, let's do it. Mm-hmm. So when we trade options, we have a variety of metrics that we use to quantify, compare, or manage portfolio risk. We talk about implied volatility. We talk about historical volatility, realized volatility, IVR, win rate, pop, beta-weighted delta. Duration is a huge part of options trading, underlying correlations. We talk about outlier risk. All these things kind of are part of option trading. Mm-hmm. When you're trading stocks, you really only use historical volatility, or you realistically only use historical volatility with a comparison to SPY volatility to measure risk, because you can only look back at the move in the stock. That's really all you can do. You can't do anything more with a share of stock. It's just you're saying, oh, I bought it at 50, it's 100. Right. That's it. You don't really look at implied volatility. You're not trading around implied volatility. You're not trading around time value or gamma or none of those things really apply. It's just I bought at 50, it's 100, pat on the back. Or I buy at 100, it's 50, I stink. This is rigged.
Agreed.
That's the other side.
But people have a hard time admitting they stink, and they don't really stink.
It's rigged.
What's that?
It's rigged.
It's rigged. That's right.
It's rigged.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. No, that's what they say. I bought this, market's rigged because my stock went down. I bought this, stock went up. I'm a genius.
People have a
it.
hard time admitting they're wrong, and they'll go to something like a saying that it's rigged, and nothing's rigged here. You just haven't learned strategy, and that's what you need to learn. Strategy.
And there's just nothing. There's no strategy with stock. It's just buy and hope it goes up.
That's right. That's right.
So when we talk about options and stocks, really the distribution of stock returns is generally, when you look at it holistically, like from a big data set, it's normally distributed with a skew to the upside. There is a consistent, you look at a 20-year chart of SPY, it goes up. It doesn't go up every day, and it doesn't go up in the same magnitude or down in the same magnitude, but there is a drift to the upside. So when you look at nearly any stock's distribution of returns, like not the cumulative, just like day to day, is the stock up or down, it's pretty normally distributed with a little bit wider. You have bigger moves generally to the downside, but more of the distribution skews to the upside. And that's why skew is dynamic too. But because these distributions are inherent in the underlying, they are unchangeable to the investor. So you don't have anything strategic. Like you are just at the mercy of whatever the distribution looks like at the time you buy your shares moving forward. There's nothing that you're trading around. You can't trade any sort of perceived mean reversion or volatility or time. There's nothing that you trade within this. It's really just you're at the mercy of whatever moving forward the distribution of returns looks like.
Yep. I think this is a good, you're looking at a distribution curve here, right? I mean, that's really what you were looking at. Yeah.
So when you're trading options, the distribution of potential outcomes is set by you. So when you sell a strangle, what you are saying is that over the next 30 days, I think the stock is going to be distributed within this range. That's what a strangle is. I'm short at this strike, I'm long at this strike, and the stock is going to be in the middle of this through the next 30 days or 10 days or 45 days, whatever you're trading in. Since you pick the options in your portfolio, you can choose how to skew that position. You can play into the skew. You can choose what your tail risk is, where your risk is. Spread width is going to be another thing that we're going to talk about here. The volatility that you're trading, you can choose to trade things that are high volatility. You can choose to trade things that are low volatility in a different way.
You can set your risk and be dynamic with it you can go like you just did in the Johnny trade and have limited directional risk if that's your bias. You can have more risk. You can put on trades that have, a higher movement in direction than you want to. I mean, the world is your oyster.
Yes, it's very dynamic and very flexible with options, whereas you don't have that flexibility with just being long shares. Mm-hmm. The one main question that we get is like, how do you manage your tail risk on these strangles or any position for that matter, short puts, short calls, strangles, straddles, whatever you're trading here. Mm-hmm. And when you're looking at positions, if you're mostly just short strangles, puts, and calls, which I would say is not the normal circumstance. A lot of people, and even in our trading, we do a lot of delta trades, a lot of debit trades, a lot of dynamic positions like diagonal spreads, butterflies, stuff that isn't just straight short volatility. I think you have to be careful with just straight up short volatility across the board. You need to have some other things in your portfolio. But for the most part, if you are short strangles, puts, calls, having no wings is going to be, full tail risk. If you want to just simply reduce your overall tail risk, buying 5 delta wings is going to reduce a lot of the I wish I did that in AMD.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's
or a Jade Lizard type trade where you're selling a naked put, selling a call 99%
of the time it doesn't come into play, but the one time it comes into play, it's going to really help you. It's going to reduce your buying power if you're in a cash account or an IRA account, et cetera. This is a very simple way to do that. In a stock portfolio, you don't really have that sort of adjustment. I mean, you can buy 5 delta puts. Those puts are you have nothing decaying against them, so it's just a cost to you. Whereas with short premium, your 5 delta options are minuscule relative to the premium that you're selling. If you want to reduce most, if not all, of your tail risk, we talk about this as kind of a CVAR, your covariance of risk, and just relative to the buying power. Buying 10 delta wings kind of caps you out of like most tail scenarios.
Yes.
Like that is your realistic tail. Can you have the huge COVID type moves? Yes, you get those once every couple of years. Can you have the Iran V bottom rally in chip semiconductor stock tail risk upside? Yes, they generally don't happen more than a handful of a percent of the time. And so if you're buying 10 delta wings, you're basically taking that off the table. These are just easy ways to reduce that tail risk. Easy and cheap ways.
Easy and cheap, right? Usually it's expensive to do something. They say everything good in life is expensive. This is something that's not that expensive, and you can still maximize your return.
Yes.
I mean, people chase 5% returns, 4% returns in their overall portfolies, especially in
that's the risk-free rate.
That's the risk-free rate. So, I mean, like, if you're going to do that, just go into risk-free rate. I mean, why?
Yeah, if that's what you're targeting.
That's what you're targeting.
Yeah.
So you got to do some multiplier of that. So put the bulk of your money, if you have a large account, in that risk-free rate, and then take that smaller portion of your account. Say you're talking about $1 million account. Take 100 grand, 150 grand, 200 grand, and try to make your 2% a month with that money.
Or do the call spread like we talked about on Confirm
Exactly.
Friend.
Exactly.
Like if you have $1 million
Yep.
and you
Yep.
don't want the risk, take 10% of that, put that into more risky asymmetric type bets, and put the rest in T-bills or some,
That's
like
right.
go to like an SGov or a BIL where you're
that's what I say,
1 month or 2 month or 3 month T-bills, and then you have the asymmetry of an upside market exposure with the protection of most of, if not all of your cash in a static return.
Yep.
You got to do something. You can't just, I don't know how people just sit with stock unless you're in like a 401k where there's literally nothing you can do.
Right. If your hands are tied, your hands are tied. There's nothing to do. Yeah.
So tips on adjusting and managing daily portfolio volatility. So we're going to talk about this from the perspective of just a stock position as well as just from a volatility / option trader. So adjusting things in your portfolio, you want to be mindful of the IV in the stock. So like if you are trading high implied volatility and volatility has contracted, taking positions off the table. That is a quick way to adjust your daily portfolio P&L volatility. The duration of the trade, so if you put something on at 45 days and we're at the 21-day mark, rolling that position out of time, that's a way to manage your positions. Early management, so we talked about a lot, this market has given you opportunities kind of on both sides of the market. You can take stuff off at 10% or 15%. There's no harm in that. Like,
that's right.
Nobody went broke ringing the register. So, you might miss out on some, but that takes away your portfolio volatility, your P&L volatility. And then you can add in correlations, right? So getting long, oil or gold or trading those products alongside equities that have, typically different volatilities, different correlations, all those things. When you're in just stock, there's a lot less you can do. You really have to buy and sell shares in that stock. It's exactly what we talked about. Like, you buy at 50 and it's at 100. Now what?
Yeah, right. What do you do now?
Do you take half your allocation off? Yeah. What do you do with that? Do you put it into T-bills? Do you buy something else? Do you buy something else that's gone up 100%? Or do you buy something that's gone down, a lot? There's so much. It's so much less flexibility in that sort of positioning. There's not much you can do. That you own 100 shares of stock. You could sell a call against it, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about just the stock portfolio. If somebody says, "What do I do?" I own Nvidia. I bought it at 10 and it's at 225. What do I do? Sell?
And what if the stock market's not where the action is? Yeah. You can trade, as you mentioned, gold, silver. You can trade anything, whatever market is moving in a direction that you like. It's not always just about the stock market.
100%.
MESP's up 38. Cancel crash.
No more down days. They're outlawed.
They've been outlawed. Go ahead.
So tips for adjusting or managing skew or asymmetric risk in your portfolio. So asymmetric portfolio risk means having a pop of anything other than 50%. So when you talk about from a risk perspective and from a reward perspective, short premium is not asymmetric. Short premium, you are capped. You have a capped risk or a capped reward with generally unlimited risk or risk that you define if you are buying wings. Something like a diagonal spread or a calendar spread or butterflies, there's an asymmetry of risk and reward. It's a variable. It's more of a variable than you do with short premium. So increasing the delta on short strikes will get you larger credits, will get you more potential upside from puts or calls or strangles. It's going to add risk though. When you reduce your delta on short strikes, it's going to increase your pop. You're going to get smaller credits. That's how it works with just short premium. Again, short premium should be one piece of the pie here. If you want to be long stocks or trading futures or diagonal spreads, calendar spreads, those are ways to get more dynamic delta than just being short premium here. When you have stock positions, there just isn't much you can do to adjust your position. Again, if you're long, shares of NVIDIA at 10 and the stock's now at all-time highs at 230 something, there's nothing else you can do but sell shares. If you're not willing to go into the option.
Lighten up. Yeah, right. I mean, there's
nothing. You have no flexibility. It's just one to
zero.
one.
It's
it.
one directional or nothing else.
So when you're looking at your portfolio, when you're trying to adjust for returns, some of the things that you can do with options is when you have increases in IV of the underlyings, you can take more directional exposure. You sell those closer at the money puts if you have higher volatility, or more contracts if you have that potential, or going naked versus normally going with defined risk spreads. With stock, you are dependent on just the stock going up. That is it. It's binary. It's one direction. It's one way. If you're looking for the more conservative portfolio, going closer to a 20 delta, 25 delta, when volatility is higher, you could define the risk, you could put lower capital in there, et cetera. All those things are things that you can do with options that you can't do with just buying and selling shares of stock.
Perfect. The takeaway slide should be long, but it's not. Look at this. It's a good one.
Options have many dimensions of risk that are always adjustable for the traders. I mean, you don't have to do this quote unquote active. It doesn't have to be on 30-day timeframes. Just like the person that said, I'm bullish for the next year. Can I buy the at the money call spread? You most certainly should.
Yep.
If you are bullish and you want some leverage, that is a better trade than buying one share of SPY. If you buy one share of SPY and the market's up 5% and you make, $25, you're going to think this is the stupidest thing ever.
Yep.
If you want to be long and you're okay with the risk, you should buy the call spread.
I don't know if it was yesterday when I was on the show with you, or it was Monday or Tuesday when I was with Ryan. We got a question or a confirm and send, something to the effect of, I have money sitting on the sidelines. I want to invest it, but I'm waiting, or I should wait, or what should I do, kind of thing.
You're going to wait forever because when it's time to buy, you're not going to want to. It's just like in April when everybody was like, you're an idiot. We're going so much lower. Oil's at 200.
We were longer at higher prices too.
Yeah,
we didn't
of
catch
course.
the bottom, sure.
Yeah, you're never going to catch the bottom, but that's markets are dynamic, and you're never going to want to buy when you should buy. You're never going to want to sell when you should sell. Like if you've been long NVIDIA at 10, you should be selling here.
I said the same
something.
I said the same thing, but I said a little bit, like best time to plant a tree was yesterday. The second best day is today.